Hi there, and welcome to the post-match reaction for Rangers versus St Mirren. I nearly said St Johnstone there for St Mirren, where Rangers have defeated St Mirren 1-0 away from home. I'm joined by JB today. What was your overall thoughts on that game today, JB?
Yeah, I thought it was obviously just 1-0 back up the road. It was never going to be a classic, with the conditions that we've seen and stuff. So, no, it definitely won't be one I'll be downloading, converting to DVD, as we said earlier. So, no, it was 1-0 win up the road and on to next week.
Now that's it. I can just imagine now James Bisgrove presents Rangers' toughest ever away performances. Now you've said that. But Rangers lined up with Butland in goal, Tav at right back, Goldson, Suter, Ridvan, Lundstram and Raskin centrally in the midfield, Cantwell just in front of them. Right out on the right, Dessers centrally, and Sterling on the left. Obviously, Balogun, Silva, Matondo, and McCausland dropped out from the game against Hibs midweek there. But what was your initial thoughts to having 4 changes and there was no injuries?
Yeah, I think with the start 11, obviously we've got to keep players fresh. I think one of the challenges that we've had this season, as we all know, what we've had for what feels like the last 10 years, is the amount of players that we can kind of see running on empty, or players carrying knocks and then making things worse. So as we've started to get some players back in the squad, if the manager feels as if we can rotate players, then we've got the ability to do it. I think if you look at a lot of the good sides, and we haven't been a good side, unfortunately, consistently for a long time, they tend to do this. They tend to have a way of playing, and then when they bring players in, it's almost a case of you go and do a role as opposed to who the player is. So with a bit of luck, now that we've got a proper manager for the first time in quite a long time, then that's what we're starting to see now. And the players who are coming off the bench or who are starting need to show the manager that they want to be starting. I don't think all of them done themselves too many favours today, but again, maybe you just need to take the conditions into account and then, as I say, move on to next week and then go again. But to come through, hopefully, touch wood, with no injuries, then we'll be in a good place.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I think that's a really, really important point that you hit on there. I think that's always been the sort of vision for Rangers Football Club, is that you have players that can play roles rather than a specific position. Because, I mean, even today, we've seen quite a few of the pack being shuffled. But the first action point we'll come on to talk to, GB, and is perhaps the most exciting point of the whole game, was the Dessers goal in 14 minutes. You could actually split this up into 2 parts. You could talk about John Lundstram receiving the ball, and we're talking about another excellent ball over the top in behind the defence. And for me, I thought Dessers took a really good first touch, took it around the goalkeeper and slotted that away. That's Dessers and 12 goals for the season, 7 assists. What did you make of the goal, the build up to it, and the goal itself, JB?
Yeah, I mean, if we can keep holding Lundstram in this window, we'll be doing well. I'm sure the big boys will be circling. But no, somebody in the club did call him John De Bruyne Lundstram, which I find quite funny. But no, I thought the goal was taken really well. I think Dessers did. I don't know whether it was either composure or he hesitated to get round the goalie. But either way, he took it well. Relatively clinical. I thought the start of the game was quite lively. I thought we come out the blocks quite well without creating too much. Midfield was very narrow. The 5 all came in, which allowed Yilmaz to get forward. But no, took the goal well. And again, it was just that I was just hoping we were going to kick on then, try and get the second before half time, and then you can relax a wee bit. But it'd be boring if that was the case, wouldn't it? So.
What do you think? Do you think opinions are changing in Cyriel Dessers, given that? I mean, I think he's been okay. He's missed a few chances, but he's scored in 3 games that he's played in. I think he's been pretty good since December. Do you think heads are starting to turn slightly on opinion in Dessers?
No. I think what it is, though, I think people are starting to accept what he is, as opposed to, I think when he first come in, I think we'd all seen the YouTube clips of him. I think it was it Ronald or Frank de Boer kind of has probably nailed it. He's either a 6 or a 9. Today he showed clips of either being a 6 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. So he's no, I think we've got what we've got with him now. Do you know what I mean? I can't see him mass improving. He's He's awkward. I think that's what we've got with him, and we just need to accept what we've got. Do I think he'll break Morelos' top goal scoring record in the league that he had in the 5-6 years or whatever it was he was here? Yes, I do. I think he'll go on to score enough goals. I think from a Rangers fans' perspective, we want to see quality, but unfortunately, this guy hasn't got it. It doesn't seem to have the predatory instincts that you kind of want from your striker. Doesn't look hungry to score goals. But he put an honest performance in today. I thought his hold-up play got better as the game went on. He had a chance just towards the end of the first half down the left-hand side. I thought, he's going to do it Bettis away. Yeah, he's going to drop the shoulder and shimmy into the box. But he cut inside and got the ball taken off by Alex Gogic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can't go more extreme than Bettis away to getting the ball taken off you by Alex Gogic, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's no, we've just got to accept what we've got with him now. He seems like a big honest guy. Manager, obviously, the managers like him. I think he'll be here, obviously, come the end of the window because there's not a lot of other options. But no, he'll probably finish the season with 25 goals across the board in all competitions. I think he's on the read. It was 12, 13 or something at the moment. So he's gonna. If somebody had said to you at the start of the season that's what he's gonna finish on, you'd have probably took it. But that said, we need more, and hopefully there's a few days still to address that.
No, that's that. You're right. On paper, if he does end up with 25 goals for the season, I think most Rangers fans would have said, yeah, that's it. But we're never going to apologise for having very, very high standards, especially of our strikers. And another player that was involved in that move, maybe just generally get you to talk about him even the last few weeks and today's game. I didn't think he was brilliant today, but you could see how important he is under Clement, and that's John Lundstram. I don't know if that's something they've been working on in training for him, looking for those balls over the top just to totally take out the defence, but it's something he's really been working on, and I felt at times, okay, it wasn't the best of games, but he really makes that midfield tick and is the point for us attacking, basically.
Yeah, no, he's doing it both ends, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's given us that. I mean, I'm never a fan of him as a 6. I don't think he actually receives the ball too well from the back 4. I don't think that's what he's good at. But in terms of that power and drive and moving forward, he's good. Do you know what I mean? He's. I think in terms of the play, if you think of as well, how consistent he's been in terms of the people playing in and around him has rotated every week, but he's kept that same level of performance over the last few weeks. I mean, he's had Sterling in there and he's had to show that leadership by talking him through games. He's had Raskin obviously coming back from injury in there. Him and Ryan Jack always seem to complement each other relatively well. And obviously we've got the new lad coming in, Diamendi, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. He's obviously coming in and he'll give us again another dimension and a bit of energy. I thought that's what we missed today in that midfield, was just a bit of energy, just to burst and walk past players and get us a wee bit further up the pitch, especially in them conditions. But really pleased for Lundstram. As I say, he's going into I just hope it's not a player's contract running out and it's almost like a last hurrah, then we give him a new 2-year deal and he's out for 6 weeks. So, but no, keep up the good work, and he'll definitely, it's a bit of a no-brainer to keep him going into next season as well.
Yeah, no, that's it, exactly. The next sort of aspect of the game I want to talk about is, the rest of that first half. Not much happened, and I was actually surprised to see our possession stats at the end of that. I did not think that we had that much possession. Taff hit the post as well at one point, but I was a bit concerned about the amount of chances that we were giving up. I'm not going to say I'm surprised that St Mirren didn't score, but I mean, Suter and Goldson were certainly given a workout in that full game today. What did you make of the defensive side of things from Rangers today?
Yeah, I thought the back 4 were relatively solid. I can't think of them making too many mistakes, but I think again, but linking back to that midfield energy, I don't think Sterling and Wright didn't offer too much either going forward or defensively. I can't picture them heavily involved in too much. And the midfield 3, I thought the game bypassed them just because how direct St Mirren were going. So, listen, in these type of conditions on what looked like a really poor pitch, you're gonna concede chances. Do you know what I mean? You're not gonna get the rub of the green all for full 90 minutes. However, we do need to, and we've been saying this for a long time, we just need to make sure that we're finishing games off quicker than what we are. Because if that had finished 1-1 today, I don't think anyone would have turned around and say St Mirren didn't deserve it. That said, as I said to you offline, I wasn't as anxious as I've been in years gone by, because I actually think we looked drilled. I actually think players know, if I give the ball away, right, I've got to get back in position. Whereas if I think about, use John Lundstram as the example. Was it St Mirren away? Was it last season? He gave the ball away on the right hand side. They ran up the park and scored, but he just stopped. He threw his hands in the air and almost like it was quite petulant. I think it was between him and Sakala. We're a million miles away from there now, so I think it's almost a case of, right, get back in, keep the shape. They hit the post or the bar with a few minutes to go, but again, as I say, you've got to concede chances against anyone, especially when things are so makeshift from a team perspective. So
yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think we dealt with them pretty well. We were comfortable with it. I'm going to not like myself for saying this, but their XG was pretty low, all things considering. Second half comes. Maybe the only sort of interesting point to talk about from the start of the second half, there was 2 subs made. Wright came off for McCausland. I wasn't surprised at that, to be honest with you. I didn't think Scott Wright, that's a chance for him today. You've surely got to be doing a bit better than what he showed. But Cantwell, I was maybe surprised at Cantwell coming off at half time again for Tom Lawrence. I've said it previously. I think the manager actually fancies Tom Lawrence over Cantwell for a starting position. I think if Lawrence would play, if he was fitter. But yeah, what did you make of that sub? Do you think that's just him protecting Cantwell because he picked up a wee knock, or do you think he's trying to, give equal game time to the pair of them?
I mean, you don't know what's going through his head, do you? It could be a mixture of obviously keeping things fresh. Obviously, Cantwell had a wee groin injury, he said, in midweek. So maybe the conditions and everything and things just kind of weren't coming off for him. So obviously keep things fresh. And obviously we know we need to get some minutes in Lawrence's legs to get him back up to speed. I would like to see Cantwell coming in from the left and Lawrence probably playing in that role, because they're 2 very clever footballers. So it wouldn't surprise me if we maybe see that against Livingston at home, maybe see a wee bit more of an offensive lineup. It hasn't always got to be speed demons, especially at Ibrox, where you just know they're probably going to camp at the edge of the box. So I wouldn't mind seeing them two linking up, coming in off the left. But no, I think right to your point, there's a reason why a team at the bottom of Turkey was looking at Scott Wright. Do you know what I mean? With all due respect, and I know there's a lot of people out there really like him, but if he gets judging where his next team is, and that's probably his level, and that might be bottom end of the SPL, it might be somewhere in Turkey or Qatar or something, but he's not very good, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's a trier, and he pops up with moments. I'd just save him for games at Hampden, to be honest, and go from there. But but again, he's a trier, but nothing seems to come off for him, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's well documented, my thoughts on Scott Wright, but as a squad player, I always just expect a wee bit more from somebody coming in. And I find it really difficult to understand that that's the first time he started in a while. You've got a chance. Surely you're busting a gut to do everything you can to get a starting position. But you talked a lot about that left-hand side there in your answer there, GB, which brings me on nicely to my next point here. We described it in the house as the Sterling experiment on that left. I don't know what I made of it. There was a mixed bag, but is he just on there, just occupying that space for Clement, anticipating that Diomande is going to come in and fill that position? Another point I've got about it is, if you're Rabbi Matondo sitting on that bench, how are you feeling? Because he's come out in the past and said, that's my favourite position. I like playing on the left. That's where he played in Belgium. And a guy who's not a natural left-sided player, never mind left winger, it plays for 87 minutes ahead of you. What do you think of your Matondo, and what did you make of Sterling's performance on that left today?
Yeah, I think from a Matondo perspective, he's just got to bear in mind when he comes in, he's got to impress. He showed flashes against Hibs, created a couple of half-decent chances. I know there was certainly one for Silver in the first half. But we're not seeing enough from him, are we? We're not seeing anything on a consistent basis. I can only assume he's not ripping up trees in training. Now, obviously, with the with the height of that Rangers team today. When you start putting guys like Raskin and Yilmaz in a starting 11, you've got a bit of a shortfall, haven't you? Especially from a team that, I mean, I'm sure pretty much every one of their players was 6'2" plus. It looked like today. So maybe their biggest threat was going to be from set pieces. So getting Sterling in the team, that was going to be the way to do it. But again, as we touched on, we wouldn't have thought he'd be able to hold a place in central midfield. We wouldn't have thought he'd be able to go to a domestic cup final and do so well at centre mid. So why not try him down the left and see what he's got? His skill set will probably be more suited to high right than high left, I would have thought, just given the fact he's played all this time at fullback. But no, he comes in, and I think he used the word earlier. It's an honest effort from him, isn't it? He got on the end of things. He worked hard. He closed down. He came quite narrow when he needed to. He's comfortable on the ball, a lot more comfortable than when I first seen him in I think it was one of the Scottish League Cup games at Ibrox. I thought, what have we got here? He looks a bit rogue, but he's come onto a game, and again, just keeping the minutes in his legs. Maybe Clement's just obviously looked at it and gone, it's going to be a bit of a slog today, which it was. We just we'll just make sure that we don't get outdone physically, and I thought he'd done okay without actually adding too much value at either end of the park.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment on him. I don't imagine we'll see him out on that left hand side anytime again soon. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the coach's thoughts on that were, if they had identified a strength in the St Mirren side down their right hand side and put him in there. But look, I feel like maybe I've been quite negative about this podcast and maybe some of the aspects of it. So I'm going to try and finish on a positive here, JB. I think the conditions looked worse than what they were on the television. That seems to be what I'm seeing on social media. But I actually can't remember a performance under Clement, and you used a really good word there. It was a bit of a slog where that was a tough watch. It looked a bit leggy, a bit lethargic at times. I don't think the players are unfit. I just think it was the conditions and quite a heavy pitch. But I've never really seen a performance under Clement that Rangers have really had to dig out a performance like that, a 1-0 win. What do you make about that?
I've kind of got I haven't got too many concerns, because even if you go back to the 55 season or when we won leagues under Walter and stuff, there was a lot of 1-0 wins in there. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be spectacular every week as much as it should be at times, because of the step up in class between the ability of the players on the pitch. It's not always going to be pretty. So at the end of the day, if you think about how we came back from winter breaks in the past, if somebody had told you 6 points out of them for 2 games, potentially 2 tricky games, you'd have snapped the hands off, and we've gone and done it. We've delivered it, and then we're moving into Livingston, and albeit don't see any shocks at 3 o'clock this afternoon, but you never know. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see how we go, and on to next week. Got again decent run of fixtures coming up, a couple of home fixtures now, and all we can do in the position that we're in is just take game by game and just get points on the board and see where we land. I'm looking forward to games again as opposed to dreading games, which is, if we're feeling like that as fans, you can only hope the players are feeling the same.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I said a couple of really important points you've hit on there. I think in terms of it being a couple of tricky away games, I mean, because St Mirren is a very difficult place to go, as I think both Old Firm teams have found out in the last few years. And to get six points, 0 goals conceded, and a couple of performances, I'll take that all day long. But listen, JB, it wouldn't be a post-match reaction if I didn't end and ask you who your man of the match today was, because I know. Listen, I haven't written anybody down because I was just going to go with whoever came to me, to be honest with you. So, yeah, a man of the match, and then that'll be us.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'll go Yilmaz. I thought he just looked really comfortable. I thought he offered quite a bit going forward. I thought he was probably our best threat going forward in the first half down the left-hand side. I love the way he comes inside, that extra wee touch. So yeah, a bit of a struggle. It toss up between him and John Lundstram, to be fair. So I think, that's a struggle. I think everybody today was probably a 6 or a 7. But it was job done and up the road. I'd rather have them 6s and 7s and win 1-0 than 6s and 7s and draw them 1-1, get beat 1-0. You know what I mean? Or if somebody was a standout, but we didn't get the points. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Names out of a hat.
Listen, I'm the exact same. I had Lundstram. That was who I think I was going to go for, and maybe Dessers because he got the goal. But the last time I gave Dessers man of the match, I got plenty of comments on the YouTube video, so I'll maybe not do that again. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Lundstram. But I think Ridvan. But I think that shows you where he's come. You know how far he's come in the last few weeks if you're giving him a man of the match performance in an okay game. But listen, thanks everybody for joining us. Take care. We'll be back on tomorrow with a podcast live at 8:30, where I'm sure the guys will touch on the game, all the latest transfer news and all that stuff as well. So take care everybody, and see you all then.